"Rufino, can I get you one?" He looked away, a sign that indeed he would like a cold beer, but was too shy to say so. Off I went to the bar for our 2 presidentes. I tried the number again, while the obliging proprietor dug up his 2 coldest ones from the bottom of the deep freeze. "Still busy," I told our little table when I got back. "Minerva?" Patria shook her head. "That wasn't 5 minutes." The afternoon was deepening towards evening. I felt the cooler air of night blowing off the mountain. We had not brought our shawls. I imagined Mamma just now seeing them, draped brightly on the backs of chairs, and going to the window once again to watch for car lights. Undoubtedly, she would pass the phone. She would see it was off the hook. She would heave a sigh and replace it in its cradle. I went back to try one more time. "I give up," I said when I came back. "I think we should just go." Patria looked up at the mountain. Behind it was another one, and another one, but then we would be home. "I feel a little uneasy. I mean, that road is so deserted." "It's always that way," I informed her. The veteran mountain pass traveler. Mate finished the last of her drink and sucked the sugar through the straw, making a rude sound. "I promised Jackie I took her in tonight." Her voice had a whiny edge. Mate had not been separated from her baby overnight since we'd come home from prison. "What do you say, Rufino?" I asked him. "We can make it to La Cumbre before dark, for sure. From there, it's all downhill. But it's up to you," he added, not wanting to express a preference. Surely his own bed with Delisa curled beside him was better than a little cot in the tiny servants' room at the back of Rudy and Pilar's yard. He had a baby too. It struck me I had never asked him how old the child was, boy or girl. "I say we go," I said, but I still read hesitancy in Patria's face. Just then, a public works truck pulled into the station. 3 men got out. One veered off behind the building to the smelly toilet we had been forced to use once and swore never again. The other 2 came up to the counter, shaking their legs and pulling at their crotches, the way men getting out of cars do. They greeted the proprietor warmly, giving him half-arm abrazos over the counter. "How are you, compadre?" No, we can't stay. Pack us up a dozen of those pork fries over there. In fact, hand us a couple to eat right now." The proprietor talked with the men as he filled their order. "Where you headed at this hour, boys?" The driver had taken a large bite of the fried rind in his hand. "Truck needs to be in Tamboril by dark." He spoke with his mouth full, licking his greasy fingers when he was done, and then tweezing a handkerchief out of his back pocket to wipe himself. "Tito! Where's that Tito?" He turned around and scanned the tables, his eyes falling on us. We smiled, and he took his cap off and held it to his heart. The flirt. Rufino straightened up protectively from his post next to the car. When Tito came running from behind the pumps, his buddies were already inside the truck, gunning the motor. "Can't a man shit in peace?" he called out, but the truck was inching forward, and he had to execute a tricky mount on the passenger's running board. I was sure they had performed the maneuver before, for a lady or 2. They honked as they pulled out into the road. We looked at each other. Their light-heartedness made us all feel safer somehow. We'd be following that truck all the way to the other side of the mountains. Suddenly, the road was not so lonesome. "What do you say?" I said, standing up. "Shall I try one more time?" I looked towards the phone. Patria closed her purse with a decisive snap. "Let's just go." We moved quickly now towards the jeep, hurrying as if we had to catch up with that truck. I don't quite know how to say this, but it was as if we were girls again. walking through the dark part of the yard, a little afraid, a little excited by our fears, anticipating the lighted house just around the bend. That's the way I felt as we started up the first mountain.